Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Javell here. So today I have a really cute fall book recommendations because obviously I feel like fall kind of signifies like cozy season, spooky season, and I have some really cute books here that it's on my October TBR, but it's also like a part of my fall book recommendations. So I'm gonna start with like a really cozy book that I really like, and it is by one of my favorite authors ever, Colleen Hoover, and it is November 9th by Colleen. I feel like this is like the perfect fall book because it's like romance, but it's also like super cozy, and I don't know, it's very cute. Alright, so November 9th is basically about Fallon and Ben, and they meet one day when she is having lunch with her dad and he's being so mean to her, and Ben's basically overhearing their conversation, so he kind of interjects and pretends to be Fallon's fake boyfriend just to get her dad to back off a bit, and then instantly like have chemistry together, so they spend the day together. But the problem is that Fallon is moving across the country the next day, so she'll never see Ben again, and so they kind of make a pact to meet every year, once a year on November 9th. And November 9th signifies a lot for Fallon because something very tragic happened that day to her, and Ben is an aspiring author, so he plans to write a book about their relationship and, you know, their meeting every year on November 9th. And so we get to see that journey with them. It's very interesting. There's so many plot twists in here. It's also like a really cozy book because obviously it kind of follows every November 9th. Like, we don't see any other time between Fallon and Ben because we only get to see them on November 9th throughout the years. I feel like this book just has so many good plot twists, and it's really cute. It's really cute, it's really good. It's also kind of sad a little bit, but it has a lot of plot twists in there, and I don't know, just read it. It's really good. Next book I want to recommend is When I Was You by Garza, and this book I got from Barnes & Noble, but I got like the smaller edition because it was cheaper. So this book is basically about two people. It's about two women. They have the same name of Kelly Medina, and basically one of the Kellys, she gets a call and they're like, oh, we're checking in on your well baby appointment, like you have a baby appointment coming up. And the problem with this one Kelly is that like she doesn't have a baby, and her oldest son is like away at college, so she has a bit of empty nester syndrome, and so she kind of gets obsessed with the other Kelly because they just so happen to live in the same town. They have the same name, it's just that one of them just has a slight variation in the details, with which is, you know, has a baby. So the Kelly that does not have a baby becomes a bit obsessed with the Kelly that does have a baby. One of the Kellys go missing, and the goal is to find out what happened. That's basically the synopsis of this book. I feel like this is a really good fall book recommendation because I feel like when I think about fall, I think about spooky month, I think about spooky books, also think about cozy books, but I feel like spooky really does take the cake for me. So I feel like a spooky book like When I Was You, which is a thriller, is a good little book recommendation. Another rec that I have is Layla by Colleen Hoover, and this is a really different book for Colleen because she mostly does contemporary romance, but this is a paranormal romance, and it's basically about Leeds and Layla, and it's about their relationship. So Leeds and Layla, they meet at a bed and breakfast, and actually they have like a wedding there, and they met at the bed and breakfast, and they instantly hit it off. They have so much chemistry together, and they feel like they've met the one. And so when they leave the bed and breakfast and they go off to start their real relationship, something happens to Layla. She gets in an accident and she's hurt, and she kind of almost dies, but she does not die. And when she comes back from her, you know, she starts recovering, Leeds kind of noticed that like she's just not the same person anymore. Like she doesn't, you know, act like how she used to act. She doesn't really have the same personality. She's just very different. She has a lot of memory loss. Leeds proposed this plan to go back to the bed and breakfast where they met to help not only jog her memory, so hopefully they can like fall back in love. And while they are at this bed and breakfast, a lot of weird things start happening, and it's just very unexplainable. Like, it's just things that are not normal, and so they feel like there's like an entity in, you know, the bed and breakfast, and Layla is just completely unaware of this. Whole time there is a ghost there, and Leeds is kind of communicating with the ghost, and one thing leads to another. The whole time the ghost is present, it's kind of hurting Layla, and it could lead to her actually just completely dying. So we get to see that in this book. It's a paranormal romance, so it's kind of scary, at least for me. Like the first couple pages, or like the first like 50 or 100 pages, I was kind of shook. I was kind of scared, but I feel like the plot twist is so worth sticking with it. The next book I would recommend is Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because this is kind of like a murder mystery, and I feel like murder mystery and spooky month, also fall, is kind of, you know, intertwined a little bit. And this is by Holly Jackson, and I know a lot of people really like this book, which is why I wanted to include it in this little fall book recommendations. So this book is basically about a high school senior. She is doing kind of like a case, but it's about a case about two people that died 5 years ago, and they were high school seniors at the time that they died, when this girl Andy Bell goes missing, and no one really knows what happened to her. A couple days later, her boyfriend dies, and he leaves like a note that says he killed her. This current senior is trying to, I guess, do a little deep dive on the case to kind of find out, is Sal, the boyfriend, the actual killer, or was there something else at play here? And while she's doing this little investigation for like a high school capstone project, while she's doing this investigation, she starts getting threats. And so we are just tuned in to this book to see if the threats are coming from the actual murderer, or like what's really going on here. And I feel like this is also another like good spooky month book recommendation. Then I actually haven't really read this book yet, but everyone I know, or everyone that has ever existed who has read this book, has given this book a 5 stars. So I'm gonna include it in here, and it is Verity by Colleen Hoover. And apparently this is kind of like some kind of paranormal situation going on as well, and it is basically about a struggling author. She gets someone to, well, her husband gets someone to kind of like co-write a book because something happened to his wife. What happened to his wife, I'm not sure yet, but yeah, so something happens to his wife. She does a little deep dive into like some autobiography that his wife was writing, and it has a lot of secrets in there. Starts falling in love with the husband. Honestly, I don't really know what this book is about, but it looks really good. Everyone loves it, and they say it's like Colleen Hoover's like best book ever. So, and then my last little recommendation that I have is the X Hex by Erin Sterling. And this book is basically about a girl who she's like a witch. She puts a little spell on her ex-boyfriend who like broke her heart, and she wanted like bad things to happen. And like years later, he returns back to the town, and everything starts to go like insane. She is on like a mission to kind of help him figure out how to stop the spell from going too far. And so that's pretty much my little synopsis of the X Hex. I also haven't read this yet. It's a part of like my October TBR, but I'm super freaking excited to read it. If you have any fall book recommendations, like any cozy books, because I feel like my recs are mostly like thriller, mystery, paranormal stuff, but if you have any cozy like romance reads that are like good fall book recommendations, please leave that in a comment below, and I would be happy to read it. Preferably no more thrillers, horror, murder mystery, just like cozy romance reads. Please leave a comment below. But that's pretty much it. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and definitely go ahead and subscribe down below for more of me, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Ooh, I'm gonna pull up study to the side. She keep coming at me every day and night. When I left in my life started feeling right. Yeah, yeah, ooh. These days I'll do anything I like. Granted for this life every day.